This has been a long time coming, but in September, they proposed a rule at the end of the Biden administration, a progressive enforcement rule. Their plan to spend the next 2 years, starting on May 7th of 2025, progressively enforcing Real ID. Well, when we got wind of it, there were only 63 comments, and it was a 30-day comment period. And by the end of it, because we started an entire campaign to get public comments, by the end of it, there were 31,764 comments. And if you look at that orange rectangle down there, you can see that that's exactly what it says. That's how many comments that they got. But when they released their final rule, this is what they said. During the 30-day comment period, DHS received over 11,000 comments. Well, what should they have said? They should have said over 31,000, or they should have said nearly 32,000, but they didn't. They virtually dismissed most of the comments. They also dismissed the fact that anybody talked about constitutional rights because they said we handled that in the 2008 proposed rule and final rule, and so we're not even discussing it here. Okay, so that 11,000 was one of their tall tales. And so let's just talk about some of the tall tales coming out of Homeland Security and the TSA. So I just gave you a timeline here. September is when that proposed rule was. The final rule had the misleading tally of 11,000. That was January of 2025. Well, the lies and tall tales just continued. So Trump's Secretary of DHS, Kristi Noem, she lied on April 25 when she said, you have to have a real ID to fly. Well, she knew that she had a 2-year progressive enforcement here, but she didn't bother to tell anybody. And she didn't tell anybody about the other kind of IDs that you could use. She said you need a real ID to fly. She lied again on May 7th when she said if you come to the airport today without a real ID, you won't be able to fly. Now then, more recently in November, the TSA put out a notice of this new fee for a traveler program. Well, we'll talk about how it's not really a fee, it's a fine, and it's not really a traveler program. And then they put out a press release shortly after that, which talked about a $45 fee option, but it's not really an option if you want to fly. And then I just showed you the TSA deadline, which is 2 days from today before they begin that $45 penalty. The progressive enforcement deadline is a year and a half away, May 5th, 2027. Well, not quite a year and a half. And then what other tall tales could come out next when they are not successful? Because that's our plan. We are not going to let them be successful with bringing us a digital ID in this country for control of all of life.